In the witching hours of the night, under the crimson hues of the blood moon, a timeless curse stirs in the small town of Kilkenny, Ireland. This is a tale rooted in reality, a tale of a curse that seeks to claim new victims every 50 years. Kilkenny, a gem of the Emerald Isle, is a town steeped in folklore and superstition, where whispers of fairies and witches echo through its ancient streets. It's a place that holds its history close, where the past intertwines with the present, and dark secrets are held just beneath the surface. Among the most chilling of these tales is that of Alice Keitler, a woman who lived in the 13th century. Alice was not just any woman. She was a woman of power, of wealth, and of fear. Accused of witchcraft, she was a woman caught in the crosshairs of superstition and paranoia. Her crime? Dabbling in the dark arts, they said, using her power to manipulate and control, to cause harm and chaos. As the flames of her execution flickered and danced, Alice stood firm, her eyes defiant. She was not a woman to be silenced, not even by death. In her final moments, Alice uttered a curse, a chilling promise of revenge. "Every 50 years under the veil of the blood moon," she vowed, "a life shall be claimed as payment for my unjust end." Her words hung heavy in the air, a palpable fear seizing those who heard them. They watched as Alice was consumed by the flames, her form disappearing into the night, but her curse lingering, a dark cloud over the town. And so, the story of Alice Keitler was etched into the history of Kilkenny. A chilling tale, a haunting reminder of a past that refuses to be forgotten. A curse, born from the ashes of a witch's pyre, waiting for the blood moon to rise. And so, Alice Keitler's curse was sealed, her revenge set to strike every half-century under the blood moon. Fast forward to present day, where we meet 21-year-old Aoife Utlah, a journalist seeking solace from the bustling streets of Dublin. Aoife, with her fiery red hair and a spirit to match, had always been drawn to the allure of untold stories, the whispers of history that echoed in the wind. So, when the opportunity arose to leave the clamour of Dublin behind and settle in the quaint town of Kilkenny, she took it without a second thought. Kilkenny, with its cobblestone streets and ancient moss-covered buildings, was a stark contrast to the steel and concrete jungle she was accustomed to. It was a town that still believed in fairies and witches, a place where the line between myth and reality was blurred. Aoife was intrigued by this mysterious town, its folklore, its tales of the supernatural. It was the perfect backdrop for her journalistic endeavors, an untouched canvas for her to paint her stories on. Aoife's new home was a centuries-old cottage nestled on the outskirts of the town. The cottage, with its thatched roof and ivy-clad walls, was the epitome of rustic charm. It was a far cry from her modern Dublin apartment, but it was a change she welcomed. In the town, Aoife quickly became known for her journalistic prowess. She had a knack for uncovering the secrets that lay beneath the town's idyllic facade, secrets that had been buried for centuries. But there was one secret that remained hidden, a secret that was tied to her own lineage. Unbeknownst to Aoife, she was a descendant of those who had condemned Alice Keitler, the infamous witch of Kilkenny. Her lineage, a fact she was blissfully ignorant of, was a ticking time bomb, waiting for the perfect moment to explode. And that moment was fast approaching, for the blood moon was on the horizon, and with it, the resurrection of a centuries-old curse. Little did Aoife know, she was stepping into the heart of a centuries-old curse, her lineage unknowingly tying her fate to the blood moon. As night fell, the blood moon rose, casting an eerie glow over Kilkenny. The stage was set for Alice Keitler's revenge. The once quaint abode of Aoife Utlah, the journalist from Dublin, began to transform under the spectral light of the blood moon. The essence of the ordinary was usurped by the unexplained. A chill wind swept through the house, whispering tales of a vengeful witch, as objects began to move of their own accord. Cups clattered in the kitchen, books flew off shelves, and chairs scraped across the floor as if invisible hands were at play. The house seemed to breathe, its walls pulsating unnaturally. And then, a sight that could curdle the blood in anyone's veins. The walls began to weep. Not water, but blood. Thick, crimson rivulets seeping from the cracks, staining the wallpaper and pooling on the floor. But the horror didn't stop there. The silence of the night was punctured by laughter, a woman's laughter, disembodied and echoing through the rooms. It was a sound that could freeze the marrow in your bones, a sound that bore the weight of centuries of anguish and fury. Alice Keitler's laughter, perhaps. Aoife, brave and inquisitive, tried to make sense of the chaos. Her journalistic instincts kicked in, her mind racing to find a logical explanation. But logic had no place here. In a house under the spell of the blood moon, her fear began to mount, a primal fear, the kind that makes your heart pound and your palms sweat. She could feel the temperature dropping, the air thickening. Every shadow seemed to hide a spectre. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like a step closer to her. The laughter grew louder. The blood on the walls shone brighter under the moonlight, and the objects moved with more urgency. She was trapped in a nightmare, a living, breathing nightmare. Her breaths became shallow, her eyes wide with terror. She was the prey in her own home, a home now ruled by a vengeful spirit. The spirit of Alice Keitler, the witch who had cursed her town and her lineage. She could feel Alice's presence, her anger, her thirst for revenge. The house was no longer hers, it was Alice's. As the hours ticked away, the haunting grew more intense. The laughter turned into a cacophony. The blood on the walls seemed to bubble and hiss, and the objects moved with such force they seemed to dance in a macabre ballet. The house was a spectacle of horror, a tableau of terror, and Aoife, she was the unwilling actor in this gruesome play, the victim of a centuries-old curse, a curse that had waited 50 years for this night, for this blood moon to claim her. With each passing moment, the house transformed into a haunting tableau of terror, a manifestation of Alice Keitler's curse. In the aftermath of the blood moon, Kilkenny awoke to a chilling discovery. The morning sun was a stark contrast to the eerie occurrences that had transpired the night before. Yet the town was not at ease. The unsettling calm was shattered when the news of Aoife Utlag's demise reached the townsfolk. Aoife, a budding journalist with a promising future, had arrived in Kilkenny with aspirations of a quieter life. Little did she know, she had stepped into a town ensnared by a centuries-old curse. Found lifeless in her home, the cause of death was determined by her doctor to be a heart attack. But this was no ordinary heart attack. The doctor noted the extreme terror etched on her face, a sign of the paralyzing fear she must have experienced in her final moments. As the doctor examined Aoife, a peculiar detail caught his attention. Tied around her neck was a piece of lace, delicate yet hauntingly familiar. The townsfolk recognized it almost instantly. It was a relic from a time long past, a time when witchcraft and curses were part of everyday life in Kilkenny. This was no ordinary piece of lace. It was attributed to none other than Alice Keitler, the infamous witch of Kilkenny. Alice Keitler, a woman condemned for witchcraft in the 13th century, had left a dark legacy in Kilkenny. On the day of her execution, she had pronounced a curse on the town, a curse that promised death under the blood moon. This piece of lace was a symbol of that curse, a chilling reminder of the town's grim past. The presence of the lace around Aoife's neck was not a mere coincidence. It was a clear sign that the curse was still very much alive, claiming its victims every 50 years under the blood moon. Aoife had been marked by the curse, chosen for reasons she could never have comprehended. She was, unbeknownst to her, a descendant of those who had executed Alice Keitler. The curse had come full circle, claiming its victim in a cruel twist of fate. The chilling tale of Alice Keitler, the blood moon, and the cursed lace continues to haunt the town of Kilkenny. People still talk about the curse, sharing their fears and speculations in hushed whispers. The tale of Aoife Utla, a young journalist who had merely sought a peaceful life, serves as a stark reminder of the town's dark past. Aoife Utlag, a young journalist with a bright future, became the latest victim of a centuries-old curse. Her death a stark reminder of Kilkenny's dark past. Her story is a chilling testament to the power of the curse, a warning to all who dare to venture into Kilkenny under the blood moon. So, dear listener, heed this tale. Beware the curse of the blood moon, a spectre of the past that continues to haunt the present. A young woman named Aoife, full of dreams and ambitions, fell prey to this century-old curse, forever silenced by the chilling laughter of a long-dead witch. This isn't a mere fairy tale. but a gruesome reality of Kilkenny. If you find yourself drawn to the enchanting town of Kilkenny, tread carefully, and whatever you do, avoid the blood moon.